M.A.P.S Media is looking into the adaptation of Rachel, Angelina Weld. Grimke's original play is about racism, a woman's dilemma to have a baby in this world, and striving through pain in the 1900s, and how the brutality of racism shaped Black families. We travel down Baltimore's own graffiti alley to the Motorhouse to see how Rachel was reinvented in the modern era. With a high-powered playwright, Adrian Wetzel. Adrian is a Baltimore-born actress, playwright, producer, director, and executive director of Two Strikes Theatre Collective. Coming off her riveting play Thank You Dad, about Jim Jones and the People's Temple, she is back with more knowledge on race relations in America. Along with Adrian, the play is directed by Tracie Jiggets. Tracie is bringing Baltimore's passion to the stage through her experience as a mother, the founder of The Art of Truth, choreographer, and director. They share a far too common reality on stage.
Welcome them to M.A.P.S Media. We have Baltimore-born actress, playwright, producer, and director extraordinaire Adrian Wetzel here, and the amazing Tracie Jiggets, founder of The Art of Truth, choreographer, and director of the Rapid Lemon Productions, an adaptation of essayist Angela Weld Grimke's Rachel, which is playing at Baltimore's Motorhouse this week. Welcome, the two of you. I appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
All of this is black girl brilliance. I don't say magic because there's nothing magical about it. This takes work. Black girl brilliance in here, okay?
You said Max Gardner out of Rapid Lemon Productions, the managing producer. He approached me to do an adaptation of this, centuries-old story, and I immediately read it and was, immediately drawn to it. The fact that this story, again, was written and produced originally in 1916, and then I think published in 1920. The same, issues about racism, the same issues around, Black family and Black motherhood, and having external pressures, on that institution. Those same issues were still relevant today, 100 years later. We're still talking about Black Lives Matter and all of those things. So the fact that this play is a centuries old, all it really needed was a little spit shine, a little update to the current times. I was able to kind of add some modern language into it and make some adjustments to some of the scenes to be a little bit more relevant to what's happening today.
That I first had is because we understand that works that came out around those times, they were not written for us. Mm-hmm. So they are absolutely written from a perspective that a white person is going to be reading. And how do I put things in that white people will like, right? So tackling that alone and understanding that that was the structure of this, because she was asked to do this production, she was asked to do this play to kind of appeal to the humanity of white folks, right? So that alone takes some sitting with and dealing with. And then the other side of it was, we are tired of hearing this story. Like for me, as far as studying Black history from the time I was born, and it's like, oh my goodness, another, oh Lord, how we gonna make it? Oh Lord, mama done burnt the biscuits. All of those, that type of feel. So it was my challenge to make it new. And like you all said, the issues are still the same. They are wraparound. So just trying to find the nuances in that is how I approached it.
Why Baltimore?
Bring a little shine, to our city and show people, that, Baltimore artists can do different kinds of work. So that was kind of a part of it as well. But really the connection to Freddie Gray and the connection to Black Lives Matter was something that I wanted to make sure was pertinent and showed up in the piece of work, at least from a written perspective.
How important was it to really bring in those Baltimore characteristics and making sure that it shines through in a play?
That was very important because Adrian put a lot of the Baltimore detail, a lot of the slang. There's talk of the fish spot. There's talk of half and halves, right? So all of that beautiful Baltimore vocabulary. So we wanted to make sure that the actors were able to bring that to life. I will say that Two of the Magenta was casted by myself. Kwame Shaka Opare was casted by myself. Rachel was played by Zippor and Dominic. They had actually did some read-throughs before, but it was definitely important for the actors to understand Baltimore. Yes.
Aladrian, you did bring in, because this play itself, it borders racism, but there's also some sexism in there, and having a woman really having the right to choose and be able to have these fears and have reservations about maybe not bringing in a child in this world. How important was it for you to really set the tone for both and making sure that you were able to showcase that, especially for Black women, that hurt that Black women have, or that fear that Black women have when it comes to potentially bringing a child in this world?
You know, every Black woman, every Black mother feels that internally, right? It's a part of our energy. It's a part of our DNA. You know, the fact of being a mother, you want to protect your child, and you already know that something that's going to happen, that's happened to you, there's a high probability that your child is likely going to experience it. And so having that dichotomy of concern and issue and fear and joy all kind of come into one. I can say that I myself have been trying to have children with my spouse for the last couple of years, and actually I've been going through infertility and going through in vitro fertilization, and I can tell you that last year when I was in the process of kind of writing this play, also during the summer of unrest, the summer of 2020, I was going through my IVF, going through an IVF cycle at that same time. And so that really, I kind of brought a lot of those emotions and those feelings, the fact that I'm going purposely and spending money and energy and time to try to bring a Black child into this world, but realizing at the exact same time that, that's a possibility that they could die at the hands of the police. It's a possibility that a random person who doesn't like the color of their skin could possibly injure them or hurt them or discriminate against them. So those feelings and that energy that I was feeling, I tried to kind of put into the words and how the play was structured.
And it also, would you say that this play helps take away some of the stigmas that are there for women who maybe don't want to have children, or women who can't have children?
Sure. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a choice. It's a person with a uterus's right to choose what they want to do, how they want to do it, whether they want children or not, for whatever reason or not. At the end of the day, it's a personal decision. It's a personal choice. It's their body to make that decision. And external pressures, yes, have a say in how you interpret that feeling. But at the end of the day, it's your heart. It's what you want to do, and how best you kind of want to go out into the world and kind of have that kind of energy. So this play is not just all about motherhood, but this play really allows women to have agency. It allows women to be vulnerable. It shows women who have mental and emotional issues. Right, us as Black women, we very rarely like to admit that we need to go to therapy, or that we need to talk to someone, and we have these issues and we hold on to these things. And this play kind of talks about how sometimes those things just need to come out. If not, they can have a detrimental impact on you emotionally, on you physically, as well as a detriment to your family dynamic.
So we have this woman who made a decision, like, by the end, that I'm not ready to do all that comes with this because I cannot handle that. So that, looking at that point, no matter what the culture, no matter where you come from, the decision to be a mother or not to be a mother. So that was the place where it was separated from racism. But as far as Rachel specifically, because her decision has everything to do with how Black children are treated once they are in this world, that came together. And Rachel and I worked very hard listening to the stories of Black mothers. They are all of that pain that you talk about. But I also will say quickly that there are the levels of pain, and they're the layers, because the mother's pain was not the same as Rachel's pain. The mother's carrying her own pain with her, as well as Tom's pain is not the same. And we have the character, Rachel's romantic love interest comes with his own brand of pain. So everyone had that moment as a director to actually sit with what that pain looks like, and how we're going to make the audience be able to feel that.
Tracie makes a good point that I didn't even think about until she just made it. But yeah, the idea that everyone in the play has some level of pain. You know, the name of the show is Rachel, right? And she is the main character and has her own kind of journey regarding racism and motherhood. But every person in the story, whether it's the mother, whether it's her brother Tom, whether it's her love interest, whether it's her next door neighbor, everyone has some level of experience of racism. Everyone has some level of experience with pain or a situation that has happened that shapes kind of who they are. And so it's important to kind of, at least when writing it, to make sure that I could differentiate between each person's pain, but at the same time, make it universal. Tracie also mentioned earlier that this play was originally commissioned and written in association with the NAACP for white audiences. It was meant to be an appeal so that white audiences could understand the implications of lynching, right? Lynching wasn't just happening to some random Black person. It was happening to, you know, a Black person within a family. It's happening to a young daughter. It's happening to a child. It's having an understanding of how racism, how discrimination, how lynching has an impact on everyone at every age group within the African American community. So making this play, you know, not only specific for how, you know, Black people feel and how they emote and how they relate to racism, but also making it universal so that even white people can have an understanding of what that pain looks like and have an understanding of what, you know, that choice and that decision to bring a child into this world that might be discriminated against or possibly killed because of the color of their skin is kind of meant to bring that universality to allow people to kind of build and get an understanding for themselves.
Absolutely. First of all, everybody, no matter the white, Black, brown, yellow, red, I need everyone to come out because we are talking about universal themes here. The theme. So I definitely believe that if I was, you know, a white person and I said, I'm here to see Rachel, I believe that you will leave with a different perspective on what Black life is, on what it is to be Black in America. There's so much content out there right now that wasn't available before, and still so many people don't know. So sometimes that movie may not hit it for you, but you may hear a line in Rachel that may plant the seed to us getting to the real conversations and doing the real work. So absolutely, all the white folks, please come out. We are pro-Caucasian watching Rachel. Thank you.
Talking about some of the stars that you actually have in the play.
We have Rachel, played by Zipporah Brown. She is awesome, out of Theater Morgan. She is doing great things with this piece. The amount of work that she had to put into becoming Rachel, and still putting in, is amazing. Dominic Gladden, who plays her love interest, has a very pivotal role. He's very important for this show and does a great job at not only expressing the pain of the Black man in America, but also to love a Black woman, right? To love a woman through this type of pain. Very interesting. We have Magenta Thomas, who held down 2 roles, right? So she plays Jimmy, and she also played the role of Sarah, who is not only comic relief, she also brings in, again, a universal story that so many people that saw the play was like, oh, I had that happen. I know somebody who that happened to, all of these things. So Magenta did a great job bringing that energy. We have Kwame Shaka Opare, who played the brother, and brilliantly, right? He is very good at the beginning of the play being very joyous, and as things begin to happen, we start to see how that affects him. And that's everyone. So we have Zipporah, we have Dominic, we have
Valerie,
we have Valerie, and Mrs. Loving. Right? So Mrs. Loving is the leader, the helm, and she really sets the stage in the first act for where we're going, and she handles that beautifully because it is not easy. So those are our characters. Miss Valerie Lewis as Mrs. Loving.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So you guys, if you have not already, make sure you go out and you get your tickets. Rachel plays through the 26th of September. All performances are live, but they have it both online and in person at the Motorhouse, and that's just at 120 West North Avenue in Baltimore, Maryland. There are strict COVID guidelines, so make sure you check out the website before you go. Performances at 8 p.m. and there's several shows still available, so make sure you go. Tickets are $24, and it's also, like I said, available online. I appreciate both of you. Before we go, can you tell people how they can reach you both, or if they want to follow you on social media?
Sure, I'll go. You can reach me on Instagram. Wait for it, at chocolate_covered_Wetzel8.
Okay.
Wait, well, look, I'm chocolate covered, and Wetzel rhymes with pretzel, so chocolate covered.
I like it.
That was
Thank you for that.
Clever. I like it.
And I'm also on Facebook, ALADRIAN Wetzel. And then one quick shout out to my theater company, Two Strikes Theater Collective. You can catch us on Instagram, Twitter, or IG or Facebook. And it's an organization that we created for Black women by Black women to tell Black women's stories. So please check out Two Strikes Theater Collective. And you can check us out on our website, twostrikescollective.com.
come through. I'm so excited about ALADRIAN and your work. So the universe can sometimes bring people together. But guys, my name is Tracie Jiggets. Where do you find me? You find Tracie Jiggets on the local Facebook, if you old, as the kids say. Spelled Tracie, last name Jiggetts. But the arts page is The Art of Truth, THEART of Truth, as I am also the mother of truth, as that is my son's name, and we are out here making it happen. So go to Instagram, find The Art of Truth. Go to Facebook, find The Art of Truth. Go to TikTok, find The Art of Truth, to follow all things art, all things Baltimore.
Awesome. Thank you both for being here. Please make sure you go out and you purchase a ticket. You will not regret it. It is definitely a must-see. I appreciate the both of you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. This has been a joy. Have a great day.
You too.
We dance out. You got music?
Yeah.